house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Ed Batut. Ed, thank you so much for your support. You're so awesome. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. You may have noticed we are in a different location tonight. Don't worry, I didn't get kicked out of my house. It's just because it's late. Okay, so anyway, let's talk about where we left off yesterday. So I mentioned we have some new have-nots this week. So Josh, Ramses, and Mark are all chilling out in that spike room. Also, Jason is still a have-not from last week. So this time, Josh went for the temptation key, and as I mentioned yesterday, he got the have-not extension chip. Damn it. So he will be a have-not for the next 2 weeks. That sucks. And people were freaking laughing their A's off when he picked that chip. It was really funny. Okay, so then, as that was happening, Christmas and Elena, they freaking missed it. They were chatting in the Apple Lounge, and Christmas is like, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to catch up with you. I know that relationships really ebb and flow in here, but I want you to know that I still feel really close to you. And Elena agrees, like, yeah, we're good. So then they're talking about the hinky votes, and Elena's like, I want to be honest with you, your name did keep coming up as one of those potential votes because you weren't here to defend yourself, and we were going through like everybody who's in the house, and you weren't here to defend yourself. So Christmas is just like, well, it wasn't me. She is not owning up to the fact that she voted out Ramses last week. Girl, everybody pretty much knows at this point. You're just hurting yourself by lying about it. Paul is the only person that she's been honest about it with so far. So then Elena brings up that she's been having some doubts about Mark game-wise. Like, she thinks he's a really great guy, he's really nice, but at the same time, his name keeps coming up, and she can't just ignore that, you know? He was implicated in that whole Cody situation last week with Dominique, and she doesn't feel very comfortable about that. So Christmas is like, well, let me tell you about my conversation with Cody before my surgery. Not again, I can't hear it again, it's too much. Oh. Okay, so moving on. Kevin and Jason were talking in the bathroom area, and at this point, Jason is like, I'm thinking I'm not going to use the power veto on Jess, after all. Because he thinks that Jess was giving him, he's not saying he wants Jess to go, but he's saying that Jess was giving him false information. I think he's referring to her saying that Raven was the one who hid Alex's kitty cat ear headband and poured out her freaking Coca-Cola. What are we even talking about? So he's not happy that Jess is supposedly lying about that. So he's like, whatever, I'm not going to use this POV on her. So Kevin's like, yeah, these people are driving me freaking crazy. He hopes that the eviction is going to be on Sunday because he just can't take it. Dominique is freaking camping out in that Apple Lounge, and nobody can go in there because she won't even talk to them. She's just sitting there, and it ruins everything. So a lot of the house guests have been speculating that the eviction will be early this week. They're thinking Sunday because they had the power veto on Friday night. No, guys, it's not happening. I'm pretty sure they're just moving the schedule around because they got the battle back this week. So they gotta like put all the competitions in there. I'm sure they want to give the editors more time to work, whatever. But obviously they don't know that. So they're thinking, oh my god, maybe this cat fight. They're thinking maybe this eviction will be early, and they're all really hoping for it because it is super freaking awkward with Dominique in the house right now. She's not done. Okay, so then they were talking about their plans moving forward. Kevin really wants to go to the Final Four with himself, Jason, Alex, and Paul. I think that that would be a really, really entertaining Final Four. I would love to see that play out. But Kevin's like, I will never vote against any of you guys. Blue, blue, blue. Respect. Yeah, handshake. Okay, so then Elena and Jessica were chatting in the bathroom area, and I have to say, Jess is doing a really amazing job reintegrating herself back into the group. I could not stand her when she was with Cody, but now she's like even enjoyable for us to watch on the feeds. Like, she's laughing and joking with everybody, so she's doing a really great job with that. But as much as I want Cody to come back in the battle back, that's gonna suck for Jess's game. Oh my god, can you imagine? Okay, so anyway, Elena lets Jess know one of the reasons that she didn't want to win HOH this week is because she knew that people were going to be wanting Jess out, and she didn't want to be a part of that. So she was like, you know what, I'll just let Alex take a shot at that. So she's saying if she had won HOH, she probably wouldn't have ended putting Jess up on the block, and that would have really hurt her game. So Jess is like, okay, noted. So then Elena is still trying to get more information about Mark's involvement in Cody's HOH decisions. So she's asking Jess about the Cody name dropping situation, and she's like, do you know if Mark and Dominique were actually involved in all that? So Jess is like, honestly, I was not present for those conversations that Cody was referring to, but she will say the day before the power veto ceremony, there was an incident where she went up to the HOH room and she walked in on Cody, Dominique, and Mark all talking. This could have been the conversation that he was referring to, and when she walked in, they just stopped talking. They totally ended their conversation, and when she asked Cody about it later, he said that Mark was upset about the questions that Christmas was asking during the talk show. So it seems like things could be lining up there. I'm sure that's freaking Elena out and just fueling her paranoia about Mark. So then Christmas and Paul, they touch base in the Rose bedroom, and she tells Paul, like, you're the only one who knows that I voted out Ramses last week. I mean, everybody else has figured it out, but Paul is the only person that she has actually admitted it to. So she's like, I think it's really best to keep it quiet for now, so keep your mouth shut. And Paul's like, that's fine. But if it ever does come out, don't be telling anybody that I knew about it, because that's not going to be good for me. And Christmas is like, that's fine. You got it. So then they're talking about Dominique, and this is a conversation that Paul has had with many people in the last, I can't do math right now, I don't know, ever since the whole Dominique blow up. He is telling everybody, like, if Dominique was telling the truth, she'd still be fighting right now. It's so obvious that she got caught up in her own lies. But you know what? There is a lot of truth to the stuff that Dominique was saying. Paul is doing some shady shit in this house, but her delivery was all wrong. Paul is really good at talking, so he definitely came out of that looking better than Dominique. But he's also saying it's not helping Dominique's cause that she's freaking walking around this house wearing sunglasses inside and isolating herself all day long. And what do you know? Dominique was in the Apple Lounge by herself. She's got the shades on. She's all blanketed up. Not to Audrey levels, which will never be matched. But yeah, Audrey. She's got the blanket. She's got a bowl of fruit next to her. She's good to go. So she's talking to the cameras, and I'm assuming God. And I'm not trying to be a jerk saying that. Like, she openly talks to God all the time, so it's fine. But she's like, yeah, they betrayed me. This is, and what am I saying? They betrayed me, and that is what hurts the worst. Even if Paul didn't lie, she knows that he was involved in this somehow. She feels that he was the one that was telling Alex to put her up on the block. I mean, he was pushing for it, so she's right there. She's got a good read on what's going on, somewhat. So then she's saying, I hope America tempts me in a way that'll help my game. It could happen. It's really going to depend on that edit. I think the vote is open until like Wednesday, so we'll see. I don't know. We're not going to see that huge blow up until Wednesday, so I don't know how that's going. That's not really going to have an effect on the votes. I don't know, but you guys leave it in the comments. Do you think that Dominique has a shot at this halting hex? Let me know. But anyway, she is really upset that Paul disrespected her, but even more that he disrespected her God. She's like, that's one thing that you just don't do. Don't you dare say that he isn't with me just because we're on a TV show. And then she says that she finds it interesting how Paul doesn't even have power this week, yet the whole house respects him. Bingo! Okay, so then she starts comparing Paul to a snake again, and that's where I bid her adieu. Adieu. I don't speak French. Okay, so then Elena and Mark were chatting in the hammock, and Mark is like, I told Alex that I don't feel comfortable going up as a pawn, but if she's gotta do it, I trust her that she'll have the votes. I don't think it's up to you. She's gonna do what she needs to do. So then Elena was like, have you talked to Dominique recently? And Mark is like, no, I haven't talked to her since everything happened. And he doesn't really want to talk to her until after the veto ceremony. That is so typical Mark. He is like all emotional and like close to somebody, and then once there's like a whiff of danger, he's just like, nope. Remember what happened with Christmas? Same exact thing. So he doesn't want to be caught talking to Dominique right now because his name is being thrown out there as a potential replacement nominee. So he wants to stay away. Alright, so then Elena is still digging to find out what Mark's involvement was in Cody's HOH week. So she's asking Mark, what did you know about Cody's plan? And Mark is saying, I didn't know that he was going to do that last week. He did know, however, about Cody's long-term concerns about the group. Excuse me. Cody was very worried about getting rid of Paul and the girls within their own group down the line. And he was saying that Cody thought it would be difficult to take them out. So he wanted to keep around some people like Alex and Jason from the other side who could do it for them. That's some info that I think Elena's gonna want to keep in her back pocket, right? Okay, so then Kevin and Jason, we get some more strategy chat from them. Kevin kind of fleshes out his plan a little bit more. We've heard this from him before. He wants to take out Matt and Mark sooner rather than later because he feels like once the two of them are gone, they're going to be unstoppable in conversations. I have to wonder when he's saying this stuff, does he mean like Alex and Jason and not himself? Because I feel like he's still going to be throwing competitions for a while. I don't know. Maybe he will step up. We'll see. I would love to see a Kevin HOH. I think that would be amazing. But right now I feel like he's still trying to play the middle. So I don't know if he would actually go for an HOH and put up Matt and Mark like he says he wants to. But then Jason's like, oh, I don't know. I really would like to take out the makeup girls and Christmas. And Kevin's saying, yeah, but like Christmas can't even participate in most of the competitions right now. We can get her out whenever. We can get rid of Jess anytime. It's fine. And Jason's like, yeah, but I kind of want the competitors to stay around. As a viewer, I'm like, yeah. As from like a player's standpoint, I'm like, get out like the freaking competitors now, man. Nobody says you gotta beat the best to be the best. Anyway, this is really interesting. Ramses, I don't know if he's just trying to be a nice boy or if he's just trying to play the best damn game he can, but Ramses visited Dominique in the Apple Lounge and he tells her, Dominique, you just gotta try to be yourself. And she's like, I have been since day one, okay? I am always myself. So then she's telling Ramses, it's hard to ignore having a machete in your back. So then she says, I know this is a game, but she really does feel like this was a personal attack. And she's saying, this is something that she said multiple times, well, many, many times in the last 2 days. It doesn't matter if you're playing a game. You will still have to face the consequences for what you've done that displeases God. So she's saying, whatever a person sows, they reap. So she's like being totally freaking intense about this, and Ramses is just like, okay, well, I just hope you can feel better. Oh my god. Okay, and he's like, I'm out of here. So, alright. Shortly after that, Kevin announces that the Dominique show has been canceled. Dominique the Dominator show is done. If you remember, they were supposed to have this big show last night, Saturday night. He was all excited about it because they were all going to dress up super fly. And they didn't end up having it for obvious reasons. I don't think anybody wanted to be a guest on that. Nobody was going to sit in there, and I don't think Dominique was up for that either. But she was sitting in the Apple Lounge, and I almost thought maybe she'd start interviewing herself, but she didn't. So, I'm assuming that Kevin, the Kevin Eater, will have his own show next week, which I'm pretty pumped about, right? Moving on, Ramses tells Jess that if she is still up on the block against Dominique, he will not vote her out. He wants Dominique to go. And I'm just mentioning this because Dominique was saying you reap what you sow, and guess what? Dominique was treating Ramses like shit the other day. She tried to call him out in front of a bunch of people, and she's trying to make him look like a jerk. Well, you're not getting his vote this week. Okay, so then Paul checked in with Alex in the HOH room, and Alex is telling him the plan is still on. Jason will use the veto on Jess, and she will be putting up Mark as the replacement nominee. Wait, what? I thought Jason was just saying before that he wasn't going to use the veto. Okay, so I don't know if Alex just wasn't aware of that, or if they're still going back and forth. I mean, we're not going to know what's really going to happen until the actual thing happens. So Paul is saying that's great. Mark is more comfortable with the plan now. We're on track. It's all good. Okay, so I think all of the tension in the house and everything is causing people to freaking goof off a lot. More pranks, more shenanigans. So Paul was messing with the have-nots last night. He was rearranging pillows and such after they set up their spike beds. So Josh and Mark ended up freaking yelling at each other. Josh was like really pissed that people were messing with his pillow setup, and they were like half playing around, half serious. I mean, there were moments where they were straight up yelling, but then like 2 seconds later they'd be laughing. So I think there was some truth to the pissed offness, but it was also like sort of lighthearted. So the funniest line was like when Josh was saying, "This bed was set up mad nice." Oh my god, Bedgate. It happens every season. Alright, so then the only other thing of interest that happened last night, Raven and Matt were having a game chat, and Matt was saying, like, I'm not really worried about Mark at this point. He thinks he's going to sink his own game with his emotions, and I can't listen to Matt and his game talks, because he is so interested in getting Raven and Paul to the finale, and just him saying that he doesn't care what happens after jury and they can just vote him out. Like, go home. I'm so sick of him. Ugh. So then Raven was saying that she feels like Christmas should go home. She feels like they should get rid of her. She can't contribute to the team anymore. She needs to be backdoored. And Matt is like, does it really matter? Like, do we need to backdoor her? Because chances are she's not going to be able to compete in the Power Veto competition anyway, so... But he agrees, like, yeah, we don't need Christmas anymore. Whatevs. Wow. Okay, so then today, Alex and Jason were strategizing in the HOH room, and they are finally coming to terms with Kevin being one of the votes for Ramses to go last week. Their eyes have been opened. They're not going to ignore all the signs anymore. So Jason's like, yeah, but I love that mofo. And Alex is like, yeah, he's great, but if one of us is up on the block against him, we're gonna go home because he is so damn likable. So that's something that they need to think about. Please don't get rid of Kevin. But then they were talking about what they're gonna do this week, and Alex is like, at this point, I don't think we need to use the veto anymore. We can just keep Jess up there because nobody likes Dominique right now. They're gonna vote her out. And Jason's like, yeah, but no, he's really nervous. That the other side will still vote to keep her, because it does come down to numbers. I don't think that Dominique would want to work with that side anymore if she stays, but you never know. You never know. Anyway, he's thinking that putting up Mark will ensure that Dominique will go. He'd be a lot more comfortable with that. I don't know what these two are going to end up doing. I don't know. So then Mark and Dominique were talking in the money bedroom. I thought he was going to wait until after the POV ceremony. I guess not. So Dominique is definitely pissed at Elena and definitely jealous of Elena's relationship with Mark, because she said, I am shocked that your girlfriend, she said your girlfriend, would link up with someone like Paul. So then she's saying she's still shocked that Paul disrespected her God like that, and she is not done yet. You know, she's been hanging back and not really talking to anyone. She's just freaking building up to what will be, I think, an explosive Power Veto ceremony. She says she's planning on calling Paul a snake in her POV speech, unless God tells her otherwise. And she's also going to say something about an alliance between Paul and Elena, and that's Mark's showman. So he's just like, I have no idea what to do. What a surprise! When do you know what to do? So Dom advises him, just protect your game. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Just protect your game. Okay, so then Christmas confronts Mark, and she's like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna let you know. Cody dropped your name, Cody dropped Dominique's name. He said that you guys wanted me up on the block, and he's like, oh, he said that? Christmas is like, I don't care anymore. Like, we're good now. It's in the past. I just wanted to let you know so that there wasn't any weirdness between us. Also noteworthy from this conversation, Christmas is claiming that she voted out Cody last week. Everyone knows. Just stop it. Stop it. Okay, so the power veto ceremony should be tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen. I wish I could tell you guys. We'll see. I think if the veto is used, it will be used on Jess, of course. And I think that Mark would be the replacement nominee. There is always that chance that it could be like Matt or Raven, but I think that it would be Mark. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. We'll know for sure tomorrow. And until next time, much love.